Diablo 4 tips from nice to what the hell that's possible, plus a little challenge for you. Every tip will give you 1 point, and at the end you'll tell me your score, and I bet not a single one will know every tip. Change your cursor size, contrast, and color to never lose it on the screen, like a Shadow Necro. Escape, options, and then straight up under graphics, you have the high contrast cursor, makes it pop even more. I would go for medium cursor scale, because if it's big, you sometimes have a problem clicking on things because the cursor doesn't really align to where it is. And last but not least, you can change the color. And right now, the best I've fared with is like a very strong green that's visible almost in every surface, even on green itself. Like here, you can see it very good. Going through your equipment, you have 2 things you can do. First, you can mark them as junk. And when you mark them as junk as you go through, you can just instantly disenchant all junk. But alternatively, as you're sorting through your equipment, you can also favorite them. So if you just looted a dungeon and want to make sure to not accidentally disenchant the one with disobedience, well, as soon as you favorite them, you can't destroy it, which really helps. Or if you found a ring that maybe has good stats and you want to compare it to something in your stash. Now, I know the vendors seem absolutely useless, but they do refresh. Here, you can see it down there. And this one, for example, has an 886 weapon right now. Same goes for jewelry, by the way. There might be every now and then 2 ranks in all corpse skills, essence reduction, darkness skill damage. And if I reroll the blood skill damage into the gloom passive, this could be an amazing amulet. Or even that one, which is better. That's amplified damage, total armor and shadow damage over time. Yeah, I'm buying that. At the potion vendor, you cannot only craft elixirs to make you stronger. No, you can also craft incense. Yes, and they work the better the more friends you have. Increases resistance to all elements by 10%, maximum resistance to all elements by +1%, armor by 150 for every player nearby. Cool. That is also working if you're alone, right? So it's just a bonus you can take on top of a potion. And these will especially help with the Abattoir Vizier. Now, if you just jump the world tier like me with level 56 and you're too weak to do the overworld content, there is a solution. And no, I'm not talking about returning to world tier 3. If you're going to a stronghold, the stronghold will actually be your level. So we are level 56, world tier 4, and we're now in a stronghold that is also max level 58. So I could do this while still getting the maximum XP that the world tier 4 has to offer. Quick leveling like 1, 2, 3, 4 levels through strongholds to then be ready for the overworld content and ancestral gear. Back to the alchemist again. You leveled up every vampiric power and now you have tons of potent blood, which seem kind of useless. Nah, you can actually go for the pact alteration and you can craft like cleansing aids, pacts of divinity, eternity, ferocity. You can actually use your potent blood still. If you're in a Helltide, your goal is to gather the 300 living steel chests to, well, be able to summon Grigor, and then you can get Shards of Agony and go for Duriel. Interesting thing though, this one runs for 48 minutes and we have it 426. Now, if you already looted 1 living steel chest and the other 1 living steel chest, and yes, you can see them on helltides.com. As soon as 426 hits 5 a.m., so in 33 minutes, those 2 chests I just showed you will reset and you're able to loot them again. And that's not only the living steel chest, it's also the chest of mysteries. It's also the normal 75 chests, which have 1 steel in them. Potentially, you can get with a flip Helltide already 20 living steel. And if you do this with 2 characters, it's an easy 40 living steel. And if you get a double drop, that's 10 per chest. Only works for Helltides that flip on the hour, that work over the hour. Paragon boards, some of the more complicated thing in the game that a lot of people struggle with. You don't have to. You might be asking yourself, this needs willpower, but which is the best willpower board? Mobalytics does actually have a nice feature for you. If you go into their build planner and their Paragon board, and I would be now slotting, let's say, the control glyph, then I can see every intelligence node around, and we see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, yeah, 10, 12 possible. If I go for Imbiber now, which would be willpower, then we can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Wow, that's not optimal. But if I'm going into the Send of Death board, and we're going to be slotting now the overpower glyph, that would be domination. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oof. That's vastly better, especially because it's those 7er nodes here, right? Easy choice. Find out the perfect board for your Paragon glyphs. You finally reach the end game. You get 10,000 armor, 16,000 life, but for some reason you keep dying in tier 100 nightmare dungeons over and over and over again. Well, that's two things that are very simple about that. 10,000 armor is not actually any kind of armor cap. Like 9,000 is for around same level monsters. When you're looking at tier 100 dungeon, that's not same level, that's 154 level monsters. And the armor cap for those is 13,500 to 800. Which means that now we either have to push this further up through more total armor percentage items, some skulls in our jewelry. The Paragon board can also help here by taking the respective armor nodes. And last but not least, there's also the aspect of disobedience. Why is it so important to reach the armor cap? Because if you're below these 13.5k, damage doesn't rise linear. It goes essentially you not being armor cap, damage just rises exponentially high and keeps clapping you, which you'll especially feel in the Abattoir of Zir. Now, the second part, why you're taking so much damage, is your resistances. And as you can see, mine are shitty. So if I fight any fire, lightning, cold, it's going to be bad. For me, I can sacrifice my skill to warriors and then suddenly my resistances look plenty good. Still not great, just good. Now to boost the respective resistance, boots, helmet, chest, pants can have some resistance stats, or you can on your rings slot also the respective gems for poison, fire, lightning resistance instead of armor. Whatever you need there. Lastly, if you actually swap your Paragon board from heavily offense more to defense, you get plenty resistance to all elements, and even more throughout the board to just gradually boost this further up. Finally, there's obviously potions like the Heady Iron Barb Elixir that can give you another 500 armor, and the instance we talked earlier about to even boost your resistances further to just make sure you're capped out. No reason to run around squishy, even for a certain aspect. But for offensive ones, it's always the focus, at least for Necro. Why is that? Here with the D4 Opal gambling tool, and I'll link that in the description below, you can actually check what the highest drop rate is. For example, Grasping Veins is going to be on a focus. And the same goes for the Blighted aspect, or in general, any offensive aspect. It will be on the focus, because the focus has the least other aspects that could drop. When we're talking about offensive ones like disobedience, for example, well, that's going to be most likely on pants for Necro. And what is with utility aspects? Let's say explosive mist. Well, that would be on chest, helmet, boots. Straight up on the boots. Check for your class. Works for everything. What's your score now? Tell me in the comments below. I'd like to see if you knew every single one of this. Also, if you're looking to prepare for the Abattoir of Zir, there's a video for you.